Hello and welcome to Team DSI Advanced Leadership Webinar. I am so excited for our special guests today. You are in for a big treat. My name is Jared Krebs. I'm pictured here with my wife, Crystal. We're Emerald Directors, co-founders of Team DSI. And you are on this webinar because you are on our advanced team. You are doing your weekly week. You are planning your work and working your plan. You're elite. And that's why we want to give our best trainings to you. We want to sow more into you because you're sowing more into your business. In fact, we actually have removed people who have not been doing their weekly action plan from this group. So this is literally the elite people on our team. And that's how it's going to be. If people want to stay in this group, they have to do their weekly action plan and post it on our Facebook. So you are the best of the best. You are on this webinar for a reason, and I'm excited for you to hear from Tom and Lori Mulhern. Now, before we introduce them and get their story, I want you to remember that amateurs sell products, professionals sell the vision. And there's not a couple better that as an example of the vision of USANA than Tom and Lori Mulhern. In fact, they are recipients of the Dr. Wentz Vision Award, which is the most prestigious award that you can win in USANA. That award is it's chosen by their peers and by corporate office for people that exemplify Dr. Wentz's vision of a family, the healthiest family on earth. And Tom and Lori Mulhern have become great friends of ours. We've gotten to know them over the years. And it's been great to know them because they're such transparent people. Tom and Lori, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to share with us your USANA story. I know you've both been in USANA for 21 years, and I have never even heard your whole story, so I'm excited. I'm going to be taking notes. Thank you for also making time for us, because I know we're not in your particular organization, but it just says so much about you that you're going to sow into our team. And everyone on the team, I hope you have a pen and paper. You're ready. You're sitting up, paying attention, and ready to take notes and learn from this powerful couple. Tom and Lori, are you on the phone?
Hello.
We are here.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being here.
Absolutely.
All right. So the floor is yours. We have about 25 minutes to hear your story, and we're very, very excited to hear it. And you go ahead and take it away from the beginning, and we want to know everything.
Okay. Well, let me start, and then Lori, I'm going to pass it over to you.
Okay.
My profession is a professional counselor. So I was a pilot in the Air Force for a while, then got out and went into counseling and moved up to Washington to join my brother, who's a counselor up here, who was a counselor. And off we went, running and developing a focus of counseling families, kids, individuals. I walked into a practice where he started referring to me right away. So I had a full load. We have 4 kids and loved my job. I absolutely loved counseling, working with people, helping people with their issues in life and helping them grow and seeing neat growth. But that being said, after a period of time, the burnout rate for a counselor is about 7 years. They don't tell you that in grad school, but you learn that pretty quick because you're carrying all this emotional stuff. And even though you're sitting down all day, and my kids would say, why are you so tired, Dad? You know, and I come home and you just sit around drinking tea all day. And I'm kind of like, yeah, you're right. That's all I do. But just the emotional involvement in people's lives was wearing me out. But as the kids would need braces and things would happen financially, of course, we needed to generate more money. And the only way to generate more money in a counseling practice that you are in private practice is to actually bring on more clients or raise your fees. And I was at the very top of the fee schedule. So I ended up having about 40 clients a week just to meet the needs, making a 6-figure income, doing very the cost of that in time was about 80 hours of work, because you have 40 hours you're working with people and you always add another hour onto the paperwork and everything else. So wow. Working 80 hours a week, just feeling absolutely wiped out. So Sundays was the time the kids wanted to go do something, but all I wanted to do was take a nap. and getting sick because you're not taking care of yourself, you're not able to exercise, all you're doing is working. And so finally, that was kind of a crisis for me. But we live across a bridge called the Narrows Bridge from Tacoma. We live in Gig Harbor, so there's this 2-lane bridge, actually 4 lanes, 2 lanes going each way. And one night, driving over the Narrows Bridge, which I had to go back over every day, there was an accident. And you're sitting in line and you're just kind of grumbling and saying, gosh, I wish they would figure this out because I hate waiting in line. It takes you a couple hours to get over the bridge, which, you get home around 10 o'clock at night. But as I drove by the accident, they had the blue tarp over the car, which you immediately know, oh my goodness, that was a fatality. And that was the turning point for me personally, because when I saw that, I couldn't get that out of my head, and praying for the family and the victims and just being consumed by that, going, wow, that life can just change like that. So that night, I remember just staring at the ceiling thinking, I wondered how this is going to work. Because if I was in that accident, the family would be better off if I died because I have life insurance. But if I got hurt, we'd lose everything because I couldn't go to work. And as a counselor, I have to be able to meet the clients to pay the bills. I'm making 6 figures and everybody says you're doing great. It is so tentative. It could be wiped out in a second like that. So that was kind of a turning point for me to start thinking about what is my plan B? And I didn't have a plan B. So I looked into disability insurance. I had somebody come over to the office. And if I was going to pay the disability insurance, I'd have to take on more clients. And I thought, well, I can't take on more clients because my schedule's maxed. And so I was kind of in that dilemma with this anxiety building. So when I was working with clients who struggle with anxiety, I was thinking, well, you think you're anxious. Right. Let me tell you what, I'm feeling anxiety too. Of course, you can't really talk about yourself when you're working with clients. So that was the situation I was in when one of my clients actually chit-chatting with her. Our daughter had a health issue that she was in the hospital, and was telling her about our dealings in the ER that night. She says, you need to look into this company called USANA. We just met this guy named Myron Wentz, and it's phenomenal what he's doing in the area of the cell. You need to work with your daughter and get her healthy, her immune system. This is 1995. And nobody, of course, heard of USANA. It's only a 3-year-old company. So that made sense. That made sense to me that I really wanted to look into. Oops, getting a little feedback there. Pause here and see if that works. Okay, somebody's on mute. So I wanted to look into for the health issues, but behind the scenes, she didn't know that I was struggling with a need for a plan B. So we looked into it, and as I saw the compensation plan, which I'd never wanted to be involved with network marketing before in my life. I had a lot of clients that always were trying to get me into a company, and I was just like, no. But when I saw this, I saw the team orientation, how people work with people, and it was based on science. And Dr. Wentz, just listening to him talk on this VCR tape, I thought that's the real deal, the integrity he had. So that's the beginning point of it, and started using the products. And there's more to the story's chapters, but that's the situation I was in. She didn't know, by the way, that I was struggling with that. All she knew, she heard me needing some health issues, which she thought for our daughter, and she opened up that door. But that need behind the scenes was probably one of the most powerful ones for me to say, this is our plan B. Lori, I'm going to throw it over to you.
Okay. Can you hear me all right?
Yes.
Okay. So as Tom was going through that, and we were kind of going through that, I'm a PGA golf professional, and I have been a golf professional, I think, since 91. So long time. And I'm a member of the PGA, not the LPGA. And when I first started falling in love with golf, I hated the game. I thought it was the weirdest game there ever was, and it took forever, and it was a single ball, and nobody else was playing with you, and I hated it. But then I just started going and hitting balls, and then I thought, you know what, this is pretty hard. This is pretty fun. So started hitting more balls, and really started falling in love with the sport. And being a female in trying to qualify for the PGA, I had all the guys around me just kind of root me on, and the pros in the area root me on, because at that time I was one of the only female PGA members in the state of Washington. So they were just, really kind of getting behind me and supporting me, which was really neat. And there was a few of us, but not too many. And I was receiving offers to work at different golf courses and help open up different golf courses. And so I went and helped open up this one course. So this is a little bit further into my career, and I become the head professional general manager there. And I was working from 4 or 5 in the morning till 11 at night. Okay, so 4 and 5 in the morning, clock goes around, a shift comes in and they leave, and then I am all the way to 11 at night. So as you can see, I was just working and working and working. Now, I love being a golf professional, but I was working so hard for somebody else that, again, as Tom was saying, wasn't eating right, wasn't working out for myself, but loved the game, loved the sport. I would also only take 1 day off when I was exhausted. So it wasn't even 1 or 2 days off a week. It was 1 day off when I was exhausted. And I started really realizing, oh my gosh, what am I doing? And the golf course was fun to be at, but it wasn't what our desire and dream was, to start traveling and have fun and do all that. So USANA came along, and you saw, as you heard, Tom was introduced to USANA and stuff, and we started taking the product, and I didn't realize how I felt until I started taking the product. And then I realized, oh, I wasn't feeling very well. I was always tired. I wasn't sleeping well at night. I was on sleeping medication just because I couldn't sleep, because the anxiety of the golf course, oh no, I got to hurry up and sleep before I get up and go again. That kind of feeling. So getting on the products, I was blown away with how I felt. And we just started sharing with people because we loved it so much. And so again, there comes USANA. Pretty soon, it just kind of took off because people were loving what we were loving. And, it's kind of funny because we don't normally share our stories. When we're sharing with people and helping people, we have a topic and we go right into the topic. So this might be the first time I've shared my story. So there it is. I'm still currently a PGA Golf Pro and still having fun. Love the little white ball. But now we love USANA and spending time with our team and other crossline teams. And congratulations for each and every one of you for being on this call and being such a great partner in your teams.
We didn't, a lot of people think, well, you did this full time. We didn't jump into this full time, as everybody on the call probably doesn't either. We started part-time. We both had 2 full-time professions, and we just continued we were so excited about the product. And the more excited we got about the company, as we started learning about the company, went to our first convention, got a chance to really see the integrity of the company. We were even more excited about the business. So it's like there's 2 different parts of USANA. We were excited about both of them equally. But we did this part-time. And I didn't retire from counseling until about 3 or 4 years ago. So we really built the whole business part-time, all the way up to, I think we were diamond. Before I might have retired when we were diamond. Maybe when we turned 1 star. So when people think, you can't do this part-time, you really can. You can do this part-time. You just have to be pretty disciplined on setting time aside to focus on the business. Because when you're working a part-time job and you have a family, your time is just pulled in so many different directions. The thing that gets lost is your time to invest in your own business. So we had to learn really how to discipline and mark off time for ourselves. And that's probably one of the hardest things to do. And other people might be able to relate to that. Those pulls, you seem to be always giving your time to other people instead of yourself. So.
I see you typing in there, Jared.
Yeah, time management was a challenge for me, and it still is. Yeah, it really is. It's we talk about we talked on the celebrations. One of our subjects was a 90-day plan, but we focused on business hours quite a bit. So if you were at the San Antonio celebration, you heard us talk about that. And that comes from our own personal experience as well as working with our team. One of the first skills we teach and really work with, which is one of the hardest ones to do, and it doesn't happen overnight, is setting business hours and blocking them off and owning them is so difficult. And we learned that the hard way. Nobody really helped us with that, even that understanding about business hours, though we both had our own businesses. So we kind of knew it, but USANA always got put on the back burner. So it did take off. And a lot of it was, we were just, our excitement was I think what got us, and a lot of people, it was our team. So it wasn't us at all. So that first year of actually looking for a team, that's what really helped our success. I'm going to look at the chat, see. Yep. So Lori's saying, do you want to ask us some questions? Lori?
Jared?
Yeah, this is Jared. I have some questions. Yeah, and by the way, we kind of like to chat like the team chats during your story, just to like give you little encouragements and stuff. So that's
Nice.
Yes, and I do have a question on like the phases of your business. 20 years, 21 years in business, there's probably certain phases, certain people in certain times of your business. And I just want to know like what those phases were. Because I remember when I met you 10 years ago, y'all were Emerald directors and you had just come back from like, you took a year or two off or something. But like, tell us about like the time, like maybe the beginning stage, then the second stage and third stage. I don't know, like can you divide your business up into those time periods?
Probably. Lori, you want to take a stab at that?
Take a stab. Yes, I'll take a stab. So as we were kind of building, let's just go from Emerald section there. We did take 5 years off. We did a little ministry where we just did minimal USANA and let that, whatever we generated, just kind of sustain us through that. And we are putting our kids through college at the same time. And so the more, we took, during those 5 years that we did minimal USANA and kind of just partnered, and that kind of supported us as well because we were also doing a smaller amount at our jobs. I think Tom was down to 2 or 3 days a week at that point. And so it was really fun doing that. But then we thought, you know what, we want to kind of continue and start growing again. So we got re-engaged in, it's not like we stopped USANA. It was just more like we slowed down. We weren't aggressive in it like we were before. And then we just started kicking in saying, okay, let's have some fun and start working again we stopped doing what we were doing with our ministry. And so we just started having a gas again and going around and working with our team. So we worked hard and then we kind of relaxed a little bit and then just enjoyed and still did USANA, but just in a slower manner. And then we started kicking in again. Then we had some family crisis. As most of you know, my mom went through a big issue. For 35 days, we were in the hospital with her, and USANA allowed us to be able to do that because we had residual income. So as my mom was passing from cancer, we were able to spend time with her during that period of time. So again, we were doing USANA from her hospital room, and then had some other family issues and stuff as well. And so we were going like this. And then Tom's mom, again, had some health issues this last year. So we've been out of pocket almost a full year working USANA and doing USANA in between, but also helping his mom. So we've had a roller coaster of fun and a roller coaster of hard times, which a lot of people don't really know about. And we don't really share with a whole lot of people on some of that, but it's been quite a fun journey. Tom, did you want to add anything into that, or?
Yeah, I think one of the things we learned early, the first, we went gold director in like 9 months. A lot of it was because of our excitement, the people we were able to contact, their excitement, and then the team started growing. So, obviously when things work so well, you get a little cocky. You go, this is easy. Well, it's not that easy because life happens. We got to Ruby in the next year, and I think the mistake, I know it's the mistake we made, is residual income is great, but you still continually have to work it. I kind of picture it maybe like a campfire. You get the fire, maybe a beach fire. So you get this fire going, and you can get it bigger. But if you walk away from it and you don't put some wood on it, of course the fire is going to go down. And we didn't realize that. We thought residual income is going to grow and people are going to continue to with people. So we kind of got involved in some other things and let our USANA business continue to, we thought, grow for a while, but that's not what happens with the USANA business. It will, if you don't take care of it like the campfire, it just starts dying down. And then trying to get it lit again can be difficult because life happens for people. One of our key leaders moved, and so his whole community, if they weren't there, the community in Arkansas just fizzled in terms of USANA. That was a whole leg, so we had to help rebuild a leg. And then somebody else actually decided to go to another company, and you go, oh my goodness. So this is something you have to continually add wood to the fire, keep it going, and the sky's the limit on how big you can get this bonfire, but you have to continually put some wood on the fire. So we've learned that through the years, and I look back at the early part, that was our big mistake. We didn't spend time cultivating the fire, and we got distracted in other things. The things we got involved with are fantastic. I wouldn't change that. It's just we probably would have spent more focused, at least block off some time every week or every day to focus on USANA, our USANA business. So that's what we do now. Even though my mom's going through a bunch of stuff this past year, which is a long story, we continually just can focus on our own approaches, our own follow-up, and our own team. And maybe it went from maybe working 30 hours, maybe only working 10 hours, but we still focus on it every single day and every single week now.
Wow, thank you so much for sharing and being so candid. That's such a great thing for us all to hear, that you had a thought about USANA, like it would just continue to grow without you kindling the fire and talking to new people, and it didn't, and that now you know that you need to do that as a regular thing, even no matter what's going on in your life. That's really good for me to hear too. So thank you for sharing that.
Absolutely.
I have a question from a new silver director, Renee Martinez, one of our top leaders on
Congratulations.
Yes. And he was actually at the celebration in San Antonio. He says, if you could start over with all your current knowledge of this business, what would you do differently?
Ooh.
Starting over. Go back 21 years with the brain you have now.
Well, I think it's some of what we've already been talking about. We would have set specific business hours instead of just letting it happen. A lot of times when you're busy in your job, you just kind of let it happen instead of being more intentional about the time you spend. And I think, and then having a plan when you walk into those business hours. We would have probably I think also we would have got more training. You can imagine our sponsor had been in USANA, the one client of mine who shared it with me, she'd been in USANA for 1 month. So it was the blind leading the blind. So we really, within us, is this newly formed team. We had no idea what we were doing. I probably would have been great for us to go get some training to really understand the nuts and bolts of how do you do the business. We didn't have the Eric Worre Go Pro back then, but that's a fabulous book. I read that probably 3 or 4 times a year because it's just, wow, it just sets it up so good that those skills, we kind of were discovering it and reinventing the wheel and going 2 steps forward and a couple steps back because we really didn't know what we were doing. But now there's no excuse for that. We do have some great training out there. Lori, what would you add to that question?
I think I would add being a little bit more organized on preferred customer focus. So helping our preferred customers a little bit more and engaging in that conversation sooner and doing a better job at it.
Interesting. I love what you say there, because we've really done that a lot with our own team. We have a little sheet that tracks our preferred customers. So it's really cool to hear you say that.
Good. Yes. I think we could have done that a lot better. And when you look back on all the customers that have used USANA in the past that might not be on the products, I think that was part of our hiccup. because we didn't know how to service them or help them, support them well at that time. So.
Wow. Great stuff. So I have another question from Renee Martinez as well. And he asks, what is one book that Tom recommends and one book that Lori recommends so he can check them out?
Well, besides GoPro, Lori, you go ahead. I talked first last time. You go ahead.
I think I would say GoPro. That's my favorite. At first, I took out 2 color markers and I thought, okay, I'll mark them. These are action steps for me and this is action steps for our team. And I started marking everything up so much it looked like a coloring book. So I liked so much out of that I think that's my favorite. And then Tom, what's the white book? The little white book we've just been currently reading and I can't remember the name.
Tony Jury.
Tony Jury, he has one that is fantastic.
Results Faster.
Yes.
Tony Jury, Results Faster. Yes.
Yes, fantastic. That's fun, and that was a plain read. Loving that. So there you go. Over to you, Tom. Wait. Over to you.
Well, I'm up here.
Oh.
Yes, Results Faster by Tony Jury.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was a good book. You know, the one I like is Darren Hardy. Give me some titles here. Just drew a mind blank on that one. Darren Hardy's book. It's not The Entrepreneurial Roller Coaster. It's, you know what I'm thinking about, Jared?
Yeah, the Compound Effect.
Compound Effect.
Compound Effect, yes.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I really like that book because it's an eye-opener about understanding some things in a whole different way. You know, it's for a business builder in USANA. I love that. Just the little things that you do every day have this huge, big impact, which really makes sense for us. Is that one follow-up call or the one, you know, just doing little things for your business every day. And you talk to the people in USANA who are the 9 and 10 star diamonds, you think, it wasn't the big, huge events that they did it from. It was the one little things every single day. And I remember Zach Ross when he talked in was it San Diego he talked about. It was Zach and Colette were up there, and he it was San Diego. He was saying that he would talk to 2 people every day for a year, and that's what his agreement was with Colette. And you think about, 2 people every day, and here they are building this huge global business. How they do it? They talk to 2 people every day about USANA. So it's those little things, and that's that compound effect.
Awesome. The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. Love it. And we wrote that down as well. I have one last question here from Executive Goal Director Randy Krebs.
Woohoo!
Yes. What events do you promote your team?
Oh my. So we promote all of our local events. USANA Northwest does some events together, and then we promote all of the USANA events, and we find out all the events, then we invite everybody that's in those local areas to each event, so we don't just sit back. We also promote by calling, emailing, texting, and sending them all the information. So we do that whole gamut of promotion. We do some Eric Worre, and we suggest other events as well if it's local to them more, because a lot of our team has a financial crunch, so we definitely convention and everything that USANA does, and Sweet Retreat. Oh my gosh, if you haven't been to Sweet Retreat, ladies, go. I wear my pink in my pink bottle, Sweet Retreat bottle. That's an event that I would definitely promote because you get a feeling for the ladies and how they do business, and I guess I should say we do business together. So that would be what I'd suggest. Tom, over to you.
Yeah, USANA convention probably being our biggest one. We promote like crazy, and we do promote to our webinars because they were initially designed just for our team. We've opened them up all to USANA for the past so many years, but we promote our team to those webinars because the more they can hear Dr. Ladd, Karen Wolf, Steve Herchek, they can hear these folks. Their belief in the products, and they get these little nuggets that it's on their mind, and they can talk to people in their sphere of influence. So we do promote those. And one thing I learned from you, Jared, was that group text. I always remember that when we were in Salt Lake, you showed me group text. And so I use that all the time with our team. appreciate
cool.
you showing that to me. And so I will, for that, I'll get a bit.ly link. And so a couple days before those webinars, I'm just hammering that to our team. Get on the webinar and bring a guest, because they're guest friendly. And so people don't like necessarily to go to meetings and events. Well, that is an event. And they can bring a guest, and that starts the conversation about USANA. And then we go from there. So we like to promote those.
I think that's huge. I want to underline that, because the more guests we can get on that call, then our team needs to just follow up after the event. So after the webinar. So yes, I'm glad you mentioned that. And it's we have a Facebook page called Mulhern Unlimited Webinars, and it's not about us, it's about you and helping you support your guests with doctor information and information about USANA. So if you haven't been on one of those webinars, I'd pop on, because it's very guest friendly and very educational.
And
Absolutely.
We have one this Thursday.
What?
We have one this Thursday with Dr. Ladd on intelligence and the USANA difference. That's one of his better webinars. So that's a plug for Ladd and plug for your team. Get a couple guests on there that'll really help you this Thursday night.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Tom and Lori. We have one last question. They just keep rolling in. You promote any non-USANA events, like training events, things like that for your team?
Yeah, Eric Worry. We do Eric quite a bit. And, you know, Tom, I'll let you answer that.
Well, yeah, I will. We do promote Eric Worry. We have those events. Can be so expensive. When you talk about some other professional development events, we have found, and there's pros and cons to that. We have found that people will invest in the professional development and spend thousands and thousands of dollars, but then they can't afford their auto order. So we've really struggled with. We like the training that they get, but at the same time, when people are on a shoestring budget, it just wipes them out and it takes them away from the business. And then they're going, I don't have the money to actually be on the products. So we have kind of tried to figure out what webinars can they attend, what books can they read. But then we do like Eric Worre's stuff, because we feel like he really has a good focus. He's not trying to recruit himself and build his own kingdom and just get money from people. We like his focus of really trying to invest in the industry and invest in the people. So we do like that. So, so those are some of our, we kind of have to balance that with our folks.
Totally understand. And that's great thing that you just said about people spending so much money that they can't afford their auto order. I've seen that happen in our business as well. And it does make me kind of wonder what is the best thing to be guiding our people to sometimes, so awesome to hear that. I'm not the only one that's had that happen. And, thank you for all your candid, transparency on this call. So we're 2 minutes over schedule, and so I want to make sure we respect everyone's time. Tom and Lori, thank you so much for being on this call. Thank you so much for sharing your story. We've been wanting to hear from you for 2 years, and we did it. Yay!
Oh.
Tonight. I know you're committed. You would have done it. You would have done it a lot earlier had our webinar not conflicted with your weekly webinars. I know that. But thank you for taking the time this morning out of your schedules to share your story. It was very inspirational. We're going to have turn this into a little YouTube link, so we'll send it to you. You can always have this to share with anyone as well. And we hope you have an awesome day. Do you have any last advice before we end the call?
Oh my gosh, you guys do such a fantastic job leading your team, all of you guys, and we watch you and learn from you just as much. So thank you so much for all you do for USANA, each and every one of you. And your personalities are just beaming. You're fun. You're an engaged group. And we want to say thank you, each and every one of you.
Yep, ditto that. Your team is rising and you guys are making an impact. You are duplicating, which is great.
Bam.
So, bam.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Tom and Lori. Well, y'all have a great day. We always end our call by unmuting the lines. So everybody, we're going to unmute the lines and everyone say, have an awesome day and God bless.
Have an awesome day. God bless.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome, guys. Bless you. Have a good one.